Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Visit us at latenighthealth.com. I'm really fascinated by our next guest, Lieutenant Colonel Bree Fram, who is serving openly in the U.S. military as a transgender woman, and her co-author, Máel Embser-Herbert, a sociology professor and U.S. Army veteran. In the book, they explore the practical, social, financial, medical concerns of being a transgender person in the military. Lieutenant Colonel Fram, welcome to Late Night Health.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's start. What is a transgender person?
Well, a transgender person is someone whose internal sense of self and their gender identity doesn't align with what the doctor looked at them like when they were born and said, you're a male, you're a female. Something was mismatched there from their sex assigned at birth to who they are on the inside.
And there seems to be, in the last few years, there are all kinds of new wording for gays and transsexual, and it goes on and on. My feeling is, who cares? In other words, I don't care what you are, what the person down the street is, but there are people who take offense somehow at being a transgender, being gay, et cetera, et cetera. How do you feel about that?
Well, terminology evolves as our language evolves and our understanding of ourselves evolved. So it's important to keep up and understand with this terminology so that we can respect one another. And if someone tells you about themselves, that you can respect them as who they are, rather than using language or terms that don't reflect who that person is.
I couldn't agree with you more. I don't see why it would matter. Any thoughts on why people condemn, if you will, people who are gay, transgender, bisexual, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? I don't understand it.
Now, I think a lot of it comes from either ignorance or fear, that they just don't know, don't understand what this means for these people and who they are. And there's certainly other reasons where people may be afraid or be told that transgender people are the boogeyman. And it's so often that chance to make a personal connection, to realize that we have this shared element of humanity that binds us all together, whether that's, we bond over a sports team or a favorite food, that's important, and that allows people to connect and get past some of that fear or ignorance that may be out there. What I think is so wonderful about this book, With Honor and Integrity, Transgender Troops in Their Own Words, is that you get 26 stories of people that are unique individuals that show their humanity, and our ability to connect through story is incredible. So these are people you may just want to sit down and have a beer or a meal with and just understand a little bit more about their experiences.
You're based in Washington, D.C., aren't you?
I am. I'm currently stationed at the Pentagon.
Okay. You mentioned just a few moments ago, just now, sitting down and having a beer. There's a Washington, D.C. sauce that I can't remember that goes on hot dogs. That's, and you and I, we could sit down and have a hot dog together with this sauce. Anyway, whatever it's called. In the military, being transgender, has that been a problem in years past, and is it still an issue?
Well, I would argue that it isn't an issue, and it never has been an issue, but our policies have been challenging. You can look back in our entire history and find evidence of transgender people serving in the military. Usually what exists is evidence of people who were assigned female at birth serving, then living their lives as men afterwards, and being perfectly honorable in their service. A great example that we talk about in the book is that of Albert Cashier in the Civil War, who served in a number of different engagements for the Illinois National Guard, was captured as a prisoner of war, escaped, made it back to his unit. Later in life, it was discovered that he was born female, yet his unit still rallied around him, and he was buried in full military regalia when he died, with all honors intact. And you can take that forward until recent policy, where transgender people have served, and today are serving here at home, all around the world, with honor and distinction. But we've had policy that's whipsawed back and forth whether they can serve openly. And it wasn't until 2016 that we had the first instance where trans people could serve as their authentic selves. Yet 13 months later, President Trump tweeted that transgender people were a burden on the military and couldn't be allowed to serve in any capacity. So we went through another several years where no one new could come out, no one new could get in, until the beginning of 2021, where President Biden reversed the policy again, and now transgender people can serve openly.
How long have you been in the service?
As of next month, I'll have been in for 19 years.
Oh my. Wow. What made you decide to go into the service?
So I joined because of September 11th. I had recently graduated from college, and I was looking for different jobs in the civilian sector. None of them really fit, and I was still looking when the attacks of September 11th occurred. It changed my worldview. I wanted to give back, to be part of something greater than myself, and help defend the freedoms that had given me so many opportunities. So the weekend after those attacks, I was driving to see my girlfriend, who is now my wife, and I saw an American flag hanging from an overpass. I broke down in tears, and by the time I walked into her apartment, I said, I'm going to join the Air Force.
Wow. And we thank you for your service. 19 years. Is there any truth to what the last president said, that transgender people are a burden on the military?
Well, I am admittedly biased, but I don't believe so. And the examples of the service members in this book are a great way of refuting that. What we see are award winners, people who are deploying, getting promoted, and they're doing everything the military has asked of them. And what you see against the argument that they're a disruption to unit cohesion is the welcome that they have, in fact, received by their units. Because what the military values is competence. And these people have all shown just how good they are at getting the mission done, and they are welcomed for that.
At the same time, let's take a look at how other service people work with transgenders, if they know or don't they know. We'll find that out. Our guest is Lieutenant Colonel Bree Fram. Her book is With Honor and Integrity, Transgender Troops in Their Own Words. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne and Lieutenant Colonel Fram. Daryl and I return as Late Night Health continues.
Welcome to Guide to the Soul. This is Robert Clancy. Your soul is a celestial rain dance upon every starlit night. Allow the rays of today's sunrise to cascade upon your wings, so the peace beckoning your soul can take flight. Sorrow-filled moments in life may have made you feel immortal. Just know that divine love is what makes you whole. Your soul was created from the boundless ocean of love. Life is simply about making waves that touch the shores of someone's heart. It's time to release fears. It's time to let this go. It's time to swim in that great ocean.
For more inspiration from Robert Clancy, visit guidetothesoul.com or go to the Moments with Robert page on latenighthealth.com. Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com. Role models. They can make all the difference. In our world today, they have never been more important. One of the nation's most successful mentoring organizations is Jewish Big Brothers Big Sisters of Los Angeles. Their mission is to assist youth in achieving their full potential through innovative and impactful programs. And no nonprofit agency does it better. Jewish Big Brothers Big Sisters of LA serves Jewish children, boys and girls in our local community with a mentoring program that's been going strong since 1915. That's only the beginning. This nationally known agency owns and operates Camp Bob Waldorf. Its summer camping and weekend retreat programs enrich the lives of youth throughout Greater Los Angeles. Then there's a college support program, and last but not least, work that helps kids all over the world through the Teen Talk app. Want to learn more? Go to jbbbsla.org. Donate. Get involved. There's no better way to make a difference. There's a lot of talk all over the internet about the remarkable benefits of Carbon-60, and baby boomers are especially excited about it. Greska's Carbon-60 is the premium Carbon-60, developed by an aerospace and NASA scientist. 95% of Greska's customers report positive results from this Nobel Prize-winning technology in just 4 days. Imagine more energy, better health, and more vitality. It's very bioavailable to quickly mend toxin-crippled cells. This is a super powerful antioxidant. Bob Greska is so confident that you'll love his Carbon-60, he wants to send you a bottle at 50% off the regular price to see how life-changing this will be for you. Call 720-600-6040. That's 720-600-6040. Visit c-60.com to learn more. Call 720-600-6040 now or visit c-60.com.
Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Words are a critical aspect of success. How you get your point across is a crucial part of what makes anything sell. So do it right and hire a writer. Whether it's articles, blog posts, technical writings, website content, product descriptions, or ghostwriting anything from a novel to a nonfiction book about your navel, contact Servet Hassan. If you want it to sell, write it right. Email Servet at servet@servethassan.com.
Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Our guest is the author of With Honor and Integrity, Transgender Troops in Their Own Words, Lieutenant Colonel Bree Fram. Lieutenant Colonel, tell us, can you relate to us one of the stories in the book that particularly strike you as being very important?
Well, I don't like singling out any one of them. What I can speak to is the breadth of the stories that we have. We have trends dating back to the Vietnam era, all the way through a number of current service members. We have officers and enlisted. We have people that are in every branch of service and serving in just about every specialty code that's out there. But if I point to one story, I like talking about Master Sergeant Jamie Hash in the United States Air Force. And one of the reasons it connects to the point we were just talking about, that when she came out, she said she'll never forget what her commander told her, who said, while it's a big deal for her, it's not a big deal for him or for the squadron. She is still the same NCO that just won a quarterly award, that is the same top performer, that is doing incredible things for her job and for the mission. And I think that's really indicative of so many of these stories. Though some will make you laugh, some might make you cry, but collectively, they really show just the amazing things that our transgender service members are doing every day.
Is there any repercussions, or have there been repercussions against transgenders, transgender people, from other members of the service, or are you accepted, like the story you just related?
So I think in most cases, people are accepted. That does not mean, though, that there aren't pockets of bigotry, ignorance, or hate out there. So some people have certainly experienced real challenging circumstances. But we now have the policy in place, and we have equal opportunity protections that give people the opportunity to seek redress should those things occur. And really, it comes down to leadership. How do we address these issues? By framing it as an opportunity for our services, in order to tap into the talent that's out there, to attract the best and the brightest, and to retain it, we need to include transgender service members, lesbian, gay, bisexual service members, women, service members of every minority out there. We need them in the service if they are willing to dedicate their lives to the defense of this nation.
I'm blown away. To me, it's like people saying, "Gee, there's a minority moving into our neighborhood. The property values are going to go down," which is not true. I guess that bigotry, the hate that you're talking about, is it widespread against transgender or not?
No, I really don't think it is widespread. And one of the data points I looked at for that is that around the time transgender people were first allowed to serve openly, in 2016, about 50% of the American public and 50% of the military was in favor of open transgender service. But because of the battles that went on, and in an ironic way, a thank you to President Trump for shining a spotlight on our service by attempting to prevent us from serving, our stories started to get out there. And that's what this book is a part of. And those stories getting into the media drove a huge change. 6 weeks to 2 months after the tweets, we were up to 70% of the American public and the military being in favor of service. 2 years later, we were in the high 80% range.
When President Trump changed the policy, how did that affect you?
So there were several court cases that were immediately filed when the tweets attempted to turn into policy. And that gave a couple years of reprieve. But once that policy went into place, I was one of the few service members that was allowed to continue serving, because while there was open service, we had come out as transgender and been acknowledged as such by the military. So we were basically an endangered species until the policy was changed back again.
Was there any reasoning behind President Trump's reversal?
Well, that's a million-dollar question that I don't think we have a good answer to. There's plenty of speculation out there, but at the bottom line, the same arguments he used and everyone else was using at the time against transgender service members were exactly the same arguments used against African Americans when the military integrated in the 1940s. They were the same arguments used against women and then women in combat. Same arguments against lesbian, gays, and bisexuals during Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And each of those groups, just like transgender people are doing today, proved just how wrong those arguments are.
Well, the troops of transgender people are doing their job. Why would anybody contradict that? It just, doesn't make sense to me. As I'm sure it doesn't to you.
Well, to me, and my personal experiences serving in the military, those of everyone in the book, and thousands of other transgender service members that I know, are showing just how capable they are of accomplishing the mission every day.
And you're all there because you believe in this country, you're protecting it, you're defending it with your lives.
Absolutely. We've all signed up to pay that price should it become necessary. But trans people join for all the same reasons that everyone else joins. And you can't really separate anything that they do from anything that anyone else in the service does, because they're there for the same myriad reasons as everybody else.
Well, that's because they're people. They're human beings. I mean, it's, we're all in the brotherhood, sisterhood together, and
absolutely.
And I think that's what that's what makes living in the United States so great, because we have that opportunity to be who we are. Did you always think of yourself as a transgender? When did that happen for you?
Well, I knew something was different about me from a very early age. I was Wonder Woman alongside my sister for Halloween when I was 3 and 4. But it took until adulthood and to get the language, to get the understanding of the fact that this was identity. It wasn't something I liked to do. It was who I was. And to get to that point where you are comfortable with yourself is challenging for a lot of people. Now, it may not be as much now as our society shifts and adapts and we understand transgender people. We have the language and we have media representation that people can see from a young age to give them that perspective that folks of my generation, or particularly earlier, just didn't have.
I really appreciate your sharing your story with us, Lieutenant Colonel Bree Fram, the author of With Honor and Integrity, Transgender Troops in Their Own Words. Thank you very much, and we look forward to talking again soon. I'm Mark Alyn. This wraps up this edition of Late Night Health. Thank you very much, Daryl.
My pleasure as always.
And I scared him. He didn't know that he was going to talk. Thank you for listening, and visit us at latenighthealth.com. Have a good week, everybody. Have a great week. Most importantly, have a healthy week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.